on News Talk.
The Football Show on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Boyle Sports. Now with same-day withdrawals to your Visa debit card.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
Oh, you're black and tan, come and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the Irish made you run like Callaway. Run the green and lovely lanes of Killashandra. Armoured cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, and every man should stand behind the men behind the wire.
Have we left in the best bit at the end?
Oh, God.
Where's this That's Mighty?
Yeah.
That was grand then.
Grand.
Mighty.
Tell you what, Kev.
That's the best.
They're your people there.
It could well...
That is your people. That's your...
I know 1,000 Martin Brennans.
Met a few.
10,000 Martin Brennans.
I know what you think about Declan Rice. I'll tell you that much. That's what that got me thinking of.
It's the best character. It could well be the best character now. This guy has to come off.
He needs a spin-off.
Oh, God.
If RD are not in there, offering every penny it takes.
Oh, God.
Okay, let's talk about a few things. Ireland's 23-man squad. There's a few different names here. A spare thought for poor Josh Cullen, 22 years of age, West Ham player.
Mm-hmm. You probably wouldn't have seen too much of Josh Cullen over the years, Joe, would you? Because he played a few cup games for West Ham, played a couple of games, had a loan spell at Bolton.
He's on loan at the moment.
Charlton.
League One Charlton under Lee Bowyer.
Yeah.
Lee Bowyer.
Good football, Joe. Could play decent football under Lee Bowyer there.
Guess what he had to talk about all day yesterday?
Oh, his mate, Declan Rice.
Everyone's different, he said when asked about Declan Rice. They shared digs. Obviously, Dec had that in his mind. Wasn't sure what he wanted to do. Made the decision. We wish him all the best. If only Kevin Kilbane...
Who's we?
If only Kevin Kilbane could be so magnanimous, said Josh Cullen. may or may not have made that part up. But for me, I'm totally focused on playing for Ireland. Hopefully all the talk will be squashed when I make an appearance, and hopefully that's in this break because I want it done and dusted. Then he was talking about his position. So plays bottom of the diamond and to the right of the diamond.
Yeah.
I feel I can play both comfortably. I like getting on the ball, getting around the pitch, breaking the play up, keeping things ticking over. I just want to dominate the game and run it from the middle of the pitch, said Josh Cullen.
He's good.
Years of age.
The two of them are good. I saw them play 21s together, him and Rice in midfield. Very good partnership together. You can see that they've come through the system together, or they've played a lot of games together at West Ham, under probably youth level, under 23 level. So you can see they had an understanding there between them. But yeah, he's a good footballer. Very good footballer. I've not seen a lot of him at Charlton, I have to say that, but I did see him at Bolton, and I saw him when he has made his appearances for West Ham. A couple of those were FA Cup games.
Emmett Malone in the Irish Times reported that Mick McCarthy was especially impressed by him when he went to see him play against Byrne. So he has seen him a few times. Paternal grandparents from Leitrim and Cavan. So that's Josh Cullen. Richard Keogh turned up as well.
Yeah.
There was lots of stuff with the press actually this week. There's been a real sense of starting afresh, I think.
Yeah.
Richard Keogh was put to him. He's made it to 600 games now as a professional.
Brilliant, yeah.
And Dan was writing about him today in the Irish Independent. McDonnell, trainee at Stoke, didn't make it there, had to go to Iceland to get his career going.
Do you know what? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, had to go to Iceland to get things moving. He had loan spells at Wickham, Huddersfield, Carlisle and Cheltenham. And then he got a 2-year stint full-time with Carlisle.
Yeah, that's right. I actually thought he started at Carlisle. That was me. See?
So before that, it was Iceland, Stoke as a trainee, Iceland, Wickham, Cheltenham, Huddersfield. And then he went from Carlisle to Coventry, and then Derby in 2012, where he's become a bit of a leader. He was talking as well about how he's talked to people in the game and they absolutely say, your game's good enough for Premier League, you can go and play Premier League. He's turned up with a broken arm.
Yeah.
You may have seen this.
Yeah.
And he was offered surgery when he broke it. The surgeon was fantastic. He said, told me I could have had the surgery and still come back quite quickly, but I might miss a few games. So I said, with this Ireland international break coming up and a big end to the season with Derby, I'd just rather take the risk and keep playing. So he says it's settled down. I got it re-x-rayed yesterday and it's a lot better. Surgeon pretty pleased that it's healing slowly but surely.
He's played well for Ireland though, Richard Keogh.
I think so too.
He's done very well when he's played.
Yeah. Shane Duffy's in.
Shane Duffy's definitely in, yes.
So it's a case of whether it will be Keogh, John Egan or Kevin Long.
Yeah.
To partner Duffy.
I think with Kevin Long coming in so late, being introduced into the squad after the initial announcement, I think you're whittling down to the two of Egan and Keogh. Only for the experience that he's got, the 600 games. I'm just talking about that again. It's great. It's great that he's talking about that. I'll just go back to the thing, because you start out your career and you're told, and you're speaking to people at the latter end of their career, and they've played 400-500, or they've had 400-500 league appearances. They played 600 games, 700 games, whatever it will be, and you don't ever fully think that you're going to have that amount of games in your career. You really don't. And
sure.
It's amazing that he's talking about that, because it was something that I was mindful of when I got to 500 league appearances, when I played 300 Premier League games, little milestones like this. And then you finish your career and you've played 600 club games, and you've got, another, you think back that you played 750 career games. You're not trying to blow your own trumpet here, but
it's a big achievement. And
the little things you look at and you think... He was
saying as much. He said, I know how tough it is just to play one at this level.
It is. To break into a first team and get a consistent run of games is just unbelievably hard. And even at the level, they say he started out at Carlisle, essentially getting his first professional terms and things, he would have seen so many boys coming through the door. When I was at Preston, the old Division 3 as it was, League 2 as it is now, there were so many people coming through the door. Every week, trialists, another trialist coming in playing a reserve game. It's a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming through across a season. And then into the next season. So I had 2 years as a YT, so you're getting your mainstay of games, or you're getting into the side at reserve team level. And you're the young lad, someone else is coming on trial as a left winger, you're put out the side, you're on the bench. Yeah. And you're thinking, this guy's not better than me. But you kind of... It just shows the number that's coming through the door constantly. So for him to say that, I like that. I like that a lot about him, that he's actually mindful of the fact is that we do take it for granted. We take our careers for granted, and that's great that he's actually talking along those sort of lines. It's not for that reason why I'm going to go for him. I'm going to go for him with his experience. I think he's played well, and it is literally a flip of the coin, I think, between Egan and Keogh. I'll go Keogh.
Aidan O'Brien then, he was in the initial 32-man squad, or was it 38?
38.
38. It was whittled down to 23, obviously, and he was out.
Do you know why, though? I found out this last week. Now, this is when Martin O'Neill and Trapp's been announcing these big squads over the while, and we've been looking, why is he announcing 38 that he's got to cut it down? You have to give the clubs notice. Sure. You can't put players, like the old way it used to, when you get players on standby, you've got to notify the clubs and things like this. You can't then introduce another, say you have a freak time where you get 4 or 5 injuries, you can't then go and call upon the clubs. The clubs can actually say no to you because you've not given the notice. That's why that big squad's introduced now.
So Paul O'Hara's reporting in the Irish Mirror today that O'Brien was in the 38-man squad, and he was cut from that. So he was in Dublin for the FAI Awards. Yeah. And he won the Goal of the Year award. Yeah. Aiden O'Brien. Stiff competition.
Did you read the piece on him in the Sunday Times at the weekend? It was over in Britain, actually, at the English Times.
No, but David Snade did one a month ago. Yeah. About his background and about the area.
Yeah, and the foundation that he set up with 2 other lower league players that have come through. He's from Islington, North London.
Did the Sunday Times do a piece on that as well?
Yeah, Sunday Times. So it must have been the same. But obviously, they're behind it over there. It's because of the FA Cup game, essentially, last weekend. Really good piece, though. Really good. I didn't read David Snade's.
The David Snade's one is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's driving him around Islington, and they bump into an old friend.
Gangs and things like
and
this.
And he was saying, did you hear about so-and-so? He was knifed. Someone tried to steal his bike. And David Snade's eavesdropping in this going, oh my God. It was like, he's from a really, really tough area.
Tough area.
Saying, you walk around the corner and there's 20 of the wrong lads there and they spot you. You're running. And you're running not because they're going to beat the shit out of you or whatever. They're running because they'll have knives.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like harrowing stuff. And so his football career is about getting his family out of this.
Yeah.
And as Stephen Hunt was talking about him, actually, there was a friendly at the Aviva where we had commentary and I was sitting beside him, and O'Brien, I just started to come off the bench. And, look, we can be a bit blasé and say, Aiden who? Come on. And he was saying that he'd been, I'm not sure at which club, Hunty's at a few clubs now, but...
Hunty might have been at finishing up Carvey.
Was there a London club he would have been at?
Palace as a kid, and he was at Brentford as a kid, Hunty, so I don't know.
This would have been towards the end of his career. Where might he have been that Aiden O'Brien would have come through?
Well, it wasn't Hull Aiden O'Brien. I don't know. I probably should check.
See,
that,
to be fair, he may have just seen Aiden O'Brien when he was working as Hunt's a scout now.
Yeah.
So he may have just seen him. But I got the impression he played with him.
Stephen's an agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hunt.
What did I say?
Scout.
Oh, an agent. Sorry.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's one and the same in some ways, isn't it? You're going around trying to look at so many players. But anyway, he was making the point that when he first saw O'Brien coming through, he thought, might struggle to make it.
Yeah.
And that he's worked so hard to make it, and he's done he's made the best of himself to get to this level, you know. So you have to bear that in mind. But anyway, Paul O'Hare in the mirror, he was strolling around Dublin Zoo because he was at the awards, won his goal of the year, and he was like, I'm going to hang around Dublin for a few days. And he was in Dublin Zoo, and Mick McCarthy rang him and said, up you come, because there were injuries, obviously. Here's the bit I found strange. So he's in Dublin.
Should have given me a call.
And Paul O'Hare says he immediately has to run to Dublin Airport to go back to London to get his gear and then get up at 5 a.m. the next morning to get a flight back to Dublin.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
What, you thinking someone should have posted them over?
Yeah.
Got his boots sent in?
Yeah. Any number of things. Or just like imagine any airline that the Irish team have an association with. By the way, listen, can you just there's going to be a little package there, football boots and some shin guards.
Yeah.
We don't want our player hightailing it one way and come back because he couldn't train then because he was up so early. Mick McCarthy said he just had to come out and do a few stretches.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this gear that Aiden O'Brien's bringing?
Yeah, that would have been just his boots. It would have been. That's probably just in his head, quick thinking, I need to get back and get my boots, rather than say anyone, they probably would have had to go to the club. The club's probably closed down. Maybe ring the kit man, speak to the kit man, look, can you just head in, get the boots, get them couriered over? That would have been the easy one.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's been Aiden O'Brien's week. Millwall is where would Stephen Hunt have been training at Millwall or doing a bit in Millwall towards the end?
Not that I know of, but he could have been. I don't know. Hunty was without a club for a while, wasn't he? He was doing bits of training here and there.
Might have been.
He could have been.
Aiden O'Brien's obviously Millwall.
Yeah.
So then Jack Byrne, Kev. I mean, it's quite an interesting collection. We're all getting to know some of these fellas a bit more.
Well, he's a talent though, isn't he? We've known of him for a good while.
We have. We've had him on the show a few times.
Yeah.
And he's not shy. I think that bugged Martin O'Neill, actually. His lack of shyness. He's 22 now, Jack Byrne. We've been hearing about him for a long time, obviously, at Man City coming through, and then Campur in Holland, where he did very well on loan. And then it's just, you feel it should have worked out. He left for Wigan, and Warren Joyce, the manager there, who brought him into Wigan, gets sacked a while later. You need luck in your career, don't you?
Unreal.
And then, Blackburn, Oldham, Kilmarnock, just hasn't worked out for him back at Shamrock Rovers. So McCarthy was in the was in the stadium when Byrne scores that really good goal at the Tallaght Stadium.
Tallaght Stadium. Did you see Nathan's Snapchat with that one?
Yeah, so behind the goal, his kids was sticking out his tongue, and then he just turned around and Jack Byrne Wallace one's in. Yeah, doesn't do the goal justice, that video. I mean, a really quick feat and great movement.
Great goal, yeah.
Yeah, really promising. So McCarthy said afterwards, geez, he's a good player. He could come, he's a contender down the line. A few hours later, Callum O'Dowd injury. Mick says, do you know what?
Yeah.
Jack
Makes sense though, doesn't it? There's probably no one of his type. And I know that old school mentality, you say, he's a confident lad, he's got a bit about him. How do you nurture that? In my mind, that's what you do. How do you nurture him to get the best out of his talent? You don't necessarily put that sort of personality down.
I got the distinct impression Martin O'Neill and his attitude was almost, we'll kind of curb some of that.
Well, when I first came into the squad, I maybe like him to. I don't know him, but if I'm thinking about personality like that, when Robbie Keane first came in, Robbie, chirpy, give everyone, he'd be speaking to Tony Cascarino the same as he'd been speaking to his best pal. He had no idea of, look, whether it's Quinn Cascarino or whether it was me or Damien Duff, whoever it would be, they were all on the same level, and he'd tell you, he'd give the same stick to Cass or whoever it would be than they would be to someone playing for his under-18 team. That was Robbie. That's exactly how he was. And he was embraced. It was just, I'm having it. So if Jack Byrne's of that type of personality, you just embrace it. Yeah. Nurture him.
Yeah.
How are you going to get the best out of him that's going to bring him on?
I was just going to say, if that's his personality, he's not going to play his best stuff if you're forcing him to respect some kind of hierarchy and, withdraw into himself. The Doc, as Mick McCarthy calls him. So Stephen Dawes been speaking with Matt Doherty.
There's only one doc in the Irish squad, I'm sorry.
Okay. Was talking to him about playing, either right midfield or right back in a flat back four. So here's Stephen Dawes speaking with Matt Doherty. This was today? Today, yeah.
And Matt, just on the talk of there could be a flat back four played by Mick McCarthy on Saturday. If you were to play in that system, is your preference then to play as a right midfielder as opposed to playing at right back?
Look, I'm the position I play club level. I'm doing both now, so I'll be comfortable to do both. At the end of the day, I am probably a full-back, so that would be my main position. But no, I have no issues playing further up the field. I love to go forward, so it would be I'd be comfortable.
I would guess that Mick would also be, eager to encourage you to get into the box and to try and get chances and try and take shots at goal as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all obviously well documented. There's been a lack of goals lately, so stuff like that, it would be no problem to get in the back post, to have shots at goal. Nobody's gonna give out you for trying to score goals. So yeah, stuff like that is kind of standard. As if you're playing on the right hand side, you need to be getting in at the back post. You need to be chipping in with goals. And fortunately, I have that kind of thing in me where I'm able to be at the right place at the right time and put the ball in the net sometimes.
Is that something you've worked on and improved on yourself, or has your manager Nuno, has he been a big part in developing you over the last couple of seasons? Yeah,
a huge part in developing me. I've improved immensely since when he took over at the start of last season. But I mean, in terms of going forward and getting goals, it's just kind of your instinct at the time. Nobody can really coach you to where to go at. I mean, there's been goals scored this season where I've just somehow nicked in at the back post. That's not him necessarily telling me to do that. It's just me having a gut feeling and thinking, oh, maybe something will come here. I don't think you can coach people to score goals, but you can obviously make them think about it and think what positions might be best or where the ball might drop, and that's what I did. And unfortunately, the ball's dropped for me a few times.
I just ask you as well, obviously as a championship team coming up into the Premier League for your first season, naturally you'll tell everybody you're ready for that level, but there must be doubts there. But when you're in the position you're in now, and to have knocked Manchester United out of the cup at the weekend, how does that feel? Yeah, it was a pretty special evening, to be honest. The whole atmosphere, I don't know if you've seen it on TV, it was just a great night for the club. A lot of us had family, all of our families there, and we obviously backed ourselves going into the game. I mean, our record against the top 6 teams is obviously pretty good, and we were at home and we were at Molineux, so we actually expected to win the game. And fortunately we did win the game. Now we've got a big semi-final to look forward to, and we'll expect to win that as well. Can you win the cup? Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously I know Man City are still in there, but we've managed to avoid them, and I know they'll be favourites, but we've drawn with them this season. I know they beat us at the Etihad, but I mean, in the final it's a 50-50 one-off. Anything's possible, and obviously we've got a good team, so we're capable of doing it. Yeah, I like him, I must say. Smart, confident, impressive.
I like him as well, yeah. I mean, I've liked him as a player since he's got in. Another one.
Oh, he's done brilliantly, yeah.
Hunty knew him, and Hunty came to Hull not long after he'd signed there. He's been at Wolves a long time now. I think it's around about 8-10 years or something like that.
He did a piece where he's only started eating properly in about the past 2 years. Before that, his diet was a disgrace, by his own admission. Just sugar, chocolate, crisps, all sorts. And he's really cleaned up his act. He may have gone vegan for a while. I should have actually. I talked about it to Keith Andrews. We did a segment on it. But basically, he's really transformed. If you look at pictures of him, he's just much leaner and stronger, fitter.
You can see in people's faces as well.
You can, yeah.
It's the face that you see it more than ever.
Face gives away someone's body fat percentage. More than anything.
Definitely, yeah.
So give me your starting 11. You're expecting Mick to go kind of a 4-4-1-1 type thing?
I think it'd be something along those sort of lines as well. I've gone quite attacking. I've gone with Dan Randolph in goal. I think that position picks itself.
Yeah.
Back four of Seamus Cullen and Shane Duffy. As I said before, I've gone Richie Keogh. And I'm going for Matt Doherty at left back. I think you have to get him into the side. So I think we've got better attacking options that are better with the ball in the type of positions they're going to find themselves in. I know Matt Doherty does play high and wide, and he may end up playing on the right
What's
side.
What's his left foot like, Doherty?
Well, that's where he broke into Wolves' first team playing at left back. He's played a lot there. I wouldn't necessarily put him in the same bracket with Dennis Irwin, but he's played a lot at left back.
Can he get down the outside and swing one in with his left foot, no problem?
It is more of a discomfort for anyone that's doing that one. I think you'll see a lot of the time he'll be checking back, he'll be checking inside, but I think when you've got someone like James McLean that's ahead of him, who I would be putting James McLean ahead of him. James McLean is definitely a lot more direct. James McLean doesn't necessarily want that play that's going to be overlapping him, and I think he can play a key role from a supportive role, keeps the ball really well. He can be looking inside to players inside him. Maybe if he's looking forward as well, if he's checking onto his right foot. So it's not necessarily a balanced team that you would like if you're going to be playing players in the position. But
no, it's not ideal.
But he certainly should be playing. He has to start in the side.
Okay, so you've him at
left back. James McLean left side. Wing. I'm going Robbie Brady right side. I think you've got to find a way to get Robbie Brady into the team. Set pieces is key.
Interestingly, what would jump out to me straight away there is Robbie Brady left back, Matt Doherty right wing.
Yeah, well, that's an option that you can do.
If it's not working out, I guess you can switch.
I think you could switch that one. Yeah, Robbie's played there a lot for us. He's played at wing back for us there in that position as well. That would make sense to me, just to play to your positions at the start of the game. I think Robbie's is such a talent. I don't think we've seen half. We've seen half as much as his talent.
And he's not playing much first team
and he's
football.
not played. Mick spoke about that in the lead up to the game. But you've got to find a way to get him into the team.
Who's your middle two?
Middle two. I'm going with Jeff Hendrick and Conor Hourihane. And the reason why I'm going Hourihane because I think it just gives us more. We've not had goals from midfield in a long time. We spoke about that. Hourihane gives us a little bit more of an option to get it of a goal threat. It is attacking against Gibraltar. Neither of those two you'd say are a natural holding midfielder. Jeff Hendrick, I could see him playing that role. I could see him playing that role a number of years ago when I was with him at Derby. It's just not necessarily progressed in the manner that he would probably like as well, playing in that role. So he's had to play as a number 10 at times. I've seen him play even as a right winger, right side midfielder at Burnley this season. I'd like to see him play in that position and start to dictate play alongside the two of them. It's quite attacking, but I think in this game they're going to have a lot of the ball. They're going to have a lot of possession of the ball. So I think it's a luxury that you can have one of I might not necessarily play that combination against Georgia, but in this game definitely those two that would play. And as I was saying before, 4-4-1-1, I think I'd play McGoldrick off Sean Maguire up front. I think McGoldrick is a good link man. I think he's an intelligent player. Played with him at Coventry. Really impressed with him. I said to you, I used to call him Eddie. He didn't have a clue who Eddie McGoldrick was when I used to call him Eddie McGoldrick. But I like him as a player. I like his personality. He's very cool, very calm. Takes the ball under pressure. He's the sort of player that will demand from you as well. When I was playing in the middle of the park, that would have just been behind him when I was at Coventry. Albeit short space of time, demanding. Give me the ball, wants the ball. And then Sean in front. There's a suggestion that James Collins could be playing up front as the number 9 in the game. I think Sean Maguire has earned the chance to play there.
See, I think the only issue with Maguire might well be that his hamstrings are very, very delicate beasts right now.
On that pitch,
yeah,
I can see it.
Just given that you've the Georgia game in a few days, what Georgia game comes around Tuesday. If you're looking at Maguire and his injury profile speaks for itself, and he's got to do all sorts of programs and prehab to keep himself tidy over, keep himself ticking over. It's very tempting for Mick, I'm sure, to say, if I need you Tuesday.
Yeah, I understand that a little bit, and there is the luxury that he's got that he could do that. Of course, no Shane Long out the side now as well. You could play Aiden O'Brien up there instead of Sean Maguire.
But then you don't want to be sitting there after 50 minutes.
Well, that's the point. Are you going to bring Sean Maguire off the bench then? I prefer to start him and then see how it goes. I mean, the only thing is, you mentioned there about the work that he would have to do on his hamstring. There'll be a lot of work he'll have to do. I'm convinced of that as well, with the problems that he's had. The pitch could cause problems. I doubt if there's a lot of snow in Preston and the manager of North End is saying to him, look, we're going to be in AstroTurf today, we're in the indoor gym, I imagine he'd be one of the players that the physios will be advising to sit out of training.
Yeah. Okay.
So that could be a problem for him on this pitch.
And is your team radically different come Tuesday night?
Tuesday, you mentioned there, could Sean Maguire play the 2 games? If not, then you're looking elsewhere. I'd maybe tempted to go with maybe a Harry Archer in midfield in the second game.
Oh, Kev.
Well, you got Archer.
My last memory of Harry Archer is that tackle.
Well, but there aren't.
He's not defensively solid.
But there aren't too many options for us. I think these 2 games with Glenn Whelan being in the squad, I think he's rightly in the squad. Glenn Whelan, no matter what anyone would say, he's rightly in the squad because he's playing well enough to be in the squad. I think these are the sort of games that you don't need a Glenn Whelan. Personally, I don't. I think you could use
against Georgia.
Against Georgia, no. Okay. I think we could use a Glenn Whelan against Switzerland and Denmark. I think that's when you're going to need him.
Who would you put Harry Archer instead of?
Probably Conor Hourihane, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends how they play. If both of them have great games together and they look like they've got a good understanding together in the middle of the pot, you're going to stick with them. Mick will probably stick with them.
And your logic is that Archer is a bit more defensively sound, is it?
When I've seen him play for Cardiff this season, he has been.
Has he?
He has been, yes.
But you know the tackle I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do know the tackle. I do know the tackle you're talking about.
He goes to ground and then pulls his leg away from the ball and then takes the man. Really?
That was Wales, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yeah. I know. It is, but the games I've seen him play for Cardiff this season, he's played well.
Fair enough.
He's playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that combination go, Hendrick and Harron. I'd like to see them because he's Harron especially having a good season.
Yeah.
Jeff Hendrick and Robbie Brady both been in and out of the side at Burnley, particularly of late. So it's difficult to judge them. Some might even say you could drop Hendrick and play Arter, but I'm still of the opinion that Jeff Hendrick is the best central midfield player we have, and he's not shown it, and I know that. He hasn't shown it consistently enough, but he's a very good player. Very good player.
Okay. When am I going to see you again?
Oh.
What's your schedule?
I don't know. It'll be a while now.
Will it?
Yeah. Probably
what are we
will
talking? Next week's out?
2 weeks. 2 weeks it will be out.
What's next week? Georgia Tuesday. I'll see you at the Aviva.
Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to be at the game. I don't know yet. Which is going to be a killer for me if I'm not, but I'd like to go, but we'll see.
And then you're not in the Wednesday?
Well, we've got the internationals. I'll be in at Virgin Media Sport this week, so I've got tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. No, tomorrow, Friday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. Ireland game Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. So
are you in here Wednesday to review the Ireland game?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
Go on.
We'll see.
You might be. Maybe.
All right. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Are you trying to
wangle you in? Yeah. Be a good night to have you in.
All right. Okay. All right.
Can't say no.
JP.
I'm going to get a text. I'm going to get a cancellation text. And then is the following week Champions League then?
Champions League the following week.
Oh, well then I won't see you for if you don't do that Wednesday.
All right. I'll do it, Ian. All right. Just for you, Joe.
And the listeners. God, I hope Declan Rice hasn't scored a hat-trick the night before.
Oh, fair play to him. No, he's gone now. He's English, isn't he?
He sure is.
By his accent.
So, okay, well then Wednesday.
Yeah, all right then, go on.
We'll review the Ireland game. Honestly. Good man, you're a good man. You can do it by Skype if you want to.
Gee, I like that option. JP will be turning in there as well. JP will be trying to get me in.
All right, back in a second.
I've got everything in front of me, so I think I have it. It took me a while to get there.
Okay.
A few of the lads in there earlier on, but I think I've got it, yeah. The league split up into 4 different leagues. League A, B, C and D. If you win a group, you automatically get into a playoff for Euro 2020 by winning a group.
What?
Yeah. So if you win your group, so if we had, say, Wales and Northern Ireland, we then, I think it comes down to, so if we win League B,
yeah,
and now not necessarily B, if say you win all the games, potentially that
Brought to you by Boyle Sports. Now with same-day withdrawals to your Visa debit card.
The Pat Kenny Show. Back tomorrow.
Theresa May has promised that she will get something done. She has shown the resilience and the persistence that is widely admired in non-political people in the country. We have to hold our breath and see what happens. I don't like the deal, but if I was in Parliament now, I'd vote for it.
The Dunkirk spirit.
Well, it worked, didn't it?
It was a retreat. Always remember that.
The Pat Kenny Show.
With MasterCard.
Back tomorrow at 9 a.m. on News Talk.
Football Index is reinventing football betting. you can buy and sell the world's top players. Their value may go up and down, but it's not over with the final whistle like a regular bet. Football Index, reinventing football betting.
Start building your portfolio today at footballindex.co.uk or download the app now. New customers only, minimum deposit and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
McGurk's Golf brings you the ultimate fitting experience. Get treated like a pro for the day with the official tailor-made golf tour truck. Fitting days take place from the 1st to the 5th of April. Go to mcgurksgolf.com for further details.
It can take just seconds to lose everyone you love. Seconds to see your life destroyed before your eyes. Hannah had a home and family once, but it was ripped away from her. No time to escape, no time to hide. The war in Syria taking everything away from her. But this Lent you can help change the life of Syrians like Hannah. Donate now on trocare.org or call 1-850-408-408. Trocare, until love conquers fear.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Hey, welcome back. So we're looking ahead to the game on Saturday, obviously, and to do that we're joined by Danny Higginbotham. Hello, Danny.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Kev. How you doing?
Hi, Danny. All good?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good,
Thanks
man.
very much.
Thanks so much for joining us. I won't lie, we don't know many former Gibraltar players, so you were top of our list.
I thought I'd be top of the list. Yeah.
Well, you're the only person on the list as well, top and bottom.
Oh, that backhanded compliment then, I guess.
So I guess the reason to talk to you is to get a sense of what we're up against, or maybe more to the point, what Gibraltar are up against in trying to play international football.
Yeah.
You were 34 years of age. You were at Chester when this all came about. Gibraltar for a long time were trying to get UEFA membership. That came about in 2013, and then there was FIFA membership in 2016, and they're trying to get things moving. A population of 30,000. They struggled for a long time. They applied a few times for membership, and Spain opposed it for several reasons. Obviously, they claimed, ownership of the territory, but also they feared Gibraltar's acceptance might set a precedent, and you might have a Catalan team, and so on and so forth. But eventually, in 2013, they got into UEFA and have been going strong ever since. So did they approach you, or did you know you had heritage? Well, I'm sure you did know you had heritage,
Yeah.
but had you been kind of sitting there for the last few years of your career hoping they'd get UEFA membership and that you'd play?
No, to be honest with you, it wasn't something that really crossed my mind too much. It had been mentioned a few times in passing over previous seasons before I got called up. But I think from their perspective, until they got the UEFA side of things sorted, it wasn't really in their interest to do it. And when they then were affiliated with UEFA and they were accepted in, it wasn't really until I met up with them that I realised how big an occasion it was. We played Slovakia at the time. It was played in Portugal as well, where they did play a number of qualifiers. And after the game, we ended up getting a 0-0 draw, and it was a magnificent result. But it was more the emotion afterwards. There was so many people there, all the dignitaries from Gibraltar, and everybody came in, and there was just tears everywhere because it was something that they'd fought for such a long time. And they'd finally got it, and obviously they knew the results were going to be very indifferent along the way, but it was the first stepping stone for them. They're in a process at the moment. Obviously they play the Victoria Stadium, which has been there for a long time. Their league, every single team plays there. It's AstroTurf, and they only get a number of hours per week to train, so they're a very fit squad. There's no doubt about that, and they'll be able to run and go all game. Technical ability, they're very good technically, but the one thing I would say that probably goes a little bit against them is the physicality side of things. They can play some good football, but defensively, like I say, on the physical side, they can be left a little bit wanting because they aren't the biggest teams in terms of stature or physicality. But they will cause problems because, like I say, they're not afraid to get the ball down and play. And they'll be looking forward to playing against Republic of Ireland. There's no doubt about it, because they're always going to be the underdog. But they've had some impressive results recently against the likes of Armenia and Liechtenstein as well, so they're starting to grow into their surroundings to a certain extent against the lesser nations.
Population of just 30,000, so clearly you're up against it. I saw a piece you wrote a couple of years ago about that first game against Slovakia, this huge occasion, and it was played over the border in Faro, I think.
Yes.
No grass pitches in Gibraltar, so even most of the players didn't have boots with studs.
No, we actually went for a walk a couple of days before the game. We went for a walk around the city that they had there, and I got talking to a few of the players, and some of the players like dashed off to a sports shop, and I asked the question, what are they going for? You got all the training kit and everything. They went, we don't have boots. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Yeah, we don't play on grass, and it's something that it's something that we take for granted. But over there, like I say, they have the one main pitch, which is AstroTurf. They have a little bit of AstroTurf on the back of that as well, where they can train. But the majority of the time, I said to the lads, because of the lack of pitches here, what do you spend the large majority of your training sessions doing when obviously your associated time is finished? And they said, well, we do a lot of fitness training, whether it be running up the rock or just other things to keep themselves fit, because they haven't got the facilities to play football. And that's why they had been up until recently, I don't know whether it's still going ahead, to move to a place called Europa Point, which is actually where the cricket pitch is at the moment. So the idea was to get, I think, a 12,000 seat stadium there, and that was something that's been in the pipeline for a while, and hopefully that can still carry on, because there's no doubt about it, they do need something like that. They need a bigger stadium, and obviously the facilities aren't the greatest, and the pitch itself as well.
Yeah, there's a few things maybe within this as well, Danny. The new head coach has gone in, change of style apparently for this campaign. Yes. But in relation to yourself as well, when everything was starting up, this is a dangerous game from our point of view, simply because it's the start of a campaign, new coach, new tactics. So that's what maybe has us slightly worried a little bit more. In relation to yourself when you first started, was there that buzz around the team going into the new campaign, a new beginning and things like that? Can you put any comparisons to this new set of, or new coach, new style going forward for them?
Yeah, I think so. What the coach has done, because obviously he's come in now, and a large amount of their players play for a team called Lincoln Red Imps, which probably arguably one of the most successful teams in Gibraltar. And the problem was that when they then went onto the international stage, they're used to winning games every single week. So the problem that they had, especially the few games that I played, that I never forget that game, the first game against Slovakia. After about 5 or 6 minutes, I'm thinking to myself, if this team doesn't try and get a bit of a shape, this could end up 9 or 10-0, because they're so used to winning, they only understood one way of playing. So when they'd go, and we've seen it before, we saw it against Republic of Ireland, we've seen it against other nations as well. They're competitive, but when they concede that first goal, they believe straight away, we've got to go and get the equaliser straight away. Whereas I think there's a little bit more now. All right, they've conceded a few goals recently in the last 2 games, but there's more of a better game management now within the new structure. And I think they understand now that they're the underdogs, and you have to grow into the game instead of trying to take the game to the opposition. And that's why, in particular, in the first few games when they were involved on the international side of things, 1-0 would go to 5-0 within 15-20 minutes, because they didn't have that understanding of being the underdogs, because they were so used to, well, if we concede first, it doesn't matter, because we'll just go and we've got better players in the opposition. So I think it's more of an understanding now of and respecting the fact that they are the underdogs. They are not as good as the opposition 9 times out of 10 that they're playing against, and it's trying to be more defensive but also trying to be a threat going forward. And I think that's the change that they're trying to make at the moment, and slowly and surely it is starting to happen, and we've seen that with some of the results that they've had over the last year or two.
So were they open to old man Higginbotham at the back, dragging them back in that Slovakia game? Ruining the fun.
Oh,
that was
I tell you. Honestly, I was 34 at the time, and I got onto the pitch and I was like, right, okay, this will be okay, because we had a good shape and everything. And before I knew it was me and the goalkeeper at the back. That was it. So it's just the case. We played a back 3, and eventually I got it so we had a back 9, and we were all right. We got a 0-0. But the thing is as well with them as a group of players, what I really found great to work with them is that they want to learn. They're continuously wanting to learn. They're continuously asking questions. And if you ask them to do something, me being a senior player at the time, it was a case of, yep, no problem. Why do we do this? And it was great from that side of things. So I think the one thing that the management have on their side there is that they've got a group of players that are willing to learn. There's no doubt about it.
Danny, how quickly did you get the mentality of some, look, we can't get another goal back into this game. We might have to contain and pick our moments. How quickly did you get that mentality to change, to turn around?
Well, I had a couple of training sessions. In the first training session, obviously they didn't know me, and obviously I didn't know them either. So it was just a case of me having a chat with everybody, and that's when they just took it on board. I just said, listen, we know we want to have a time we want to attack, but there's going to have to be a time when we've got to defend. There's going to be a time when you're doing a lot of running without touching the ball, getting back into shape. And I think what really sort of set it in stone for them was after the first 20-25 minutes we hadn't conceded, and it was a case of, okay, well, we can see that this is working. Nobody expected you to get a 0-0 with Slovakia, but the longer it went on, I think the more they understand and appreciated that this is what you've got to do. It has to be more of a collective. It can't be an individual side of things, and that's what they did. And the one thing I would say is that technically wise, they've got some very good players. Liam Walker played at Notts County and Portsmouth. He likes to play in that number 10 position. If he gets on the ball, he can pick a pass. You've got players like Rhys Dyche, who plays at Darlington, but then the majority of the rest of the players, they actually do play in Gibraltar, and like I say, a lot of them do play for Lincoln Redimps, and they will look to be strong defensively and cause a few problems, because like I say, it's anyway, when you're so used to playing on grass and then you have to change just for one game, the problems that can cause, especially when you're playing against a group of players that are so used to that can cause problems in itself. But if the Republic of Ireland go about it the right way, then I don't see it being a major issue for them.
No, we certainly hope not. Excuse the ignorance here, what's the main language over in Gibraltar? I know it's obviously a British territory.
It's English.
English, yeah.
It's English, yeah. So you go over there, and they're very proud to be part of England, so to speak. You've got the old post boxes all around the place, and people call it
red
it's
buses,
England,
red telephone boxes,
everything. Yeah, red telephone boxes. It's England in the sun. That's what they call it. And you've got so many people doing different jobs over there, and there's been a few players over the years that have probably been asked to come over to England, that play in Gibraltar, whether it be at League Two or the conference level, but they've got no interest in it because, the jobs over there are very good. Then they get a little bit, obviously, to play football as well, and it's a wonderful lifestyle for people that have lived there and grown up there. Right. So, that probably stops. That probably stops some people from actually expanding their horizons. Yeah. But, they will, if Republic of Ireland aren't. It's all about the mentality. If the mentality isn't right, then Gibraltar could cause some problems, but Republic of Ireland should have more than enough.
How many times did you play for them in the end, Danny?
Oh, you're asking me a question. I think it was 3 times, I think it was. Yeah. And the last 2 that I played, I'd actually retired by then, but it was something that I said I would do till the end of the season. And then the manager at the time, he asked me to get on board for the European qualifications, but I couldn't justify it because I'd retired from football. I had no interest in playing anymore, and I would have had to play every Saturday to keep my fitness to then go over and play for Gibraltar. So it wasn't in my interest, and it certainly wasn't in the interest of the Gibraltar FA either.
Was it an enjoyable thing to do, or a little bit strange, or how did you find it?
It was strange, but it was something that if I didn't agree to it, I would have regretted it, because the opportunity to play, international football. I'll be the first to admit the reason that you don't play for other international teams that I was available to play for. I wasn't good enough. I have no problem in saying that. So then for me to get the opportunity at the age of 34, as my career was winding down, it was something that I couldn't turn down, and I got a real buzz from it as well. It was great, and then I carried on playing for a little while at Chester while things were just starting to get going on the media side of things, and it just gave me the impetus to carry on for a little bit longer, because I knew that the international side of things was there, and it was great. I speak to some of the lads every now and then, but not too often, and it seems to be going in the right direction. And the one thing I would say from a Gibraltar side of things, they probably just need to be a little bit more open-minded, because I think there's plenty of players that play in England that would be eligible to play for them, and if they do that, then it's only going to make them stronger as a nation.
And did you get a free holiday home for life, or how does all that work?
I'm still working on that.
Right, okay.
I'm still working on that. Yeah, I'm sure sooner or later that maybe I could. Yeah. Maybe I could. I know there's a ship there that's constantly docked, which I think is like a nightclub and a casino there. So I'm trying to get a free pass for that at the moment.
Try that one.
You'll have to go and have a look at that, definitely, lads, if you're over there.
Right. Okay. Listen, very interesting stuff. Thanks so much for joining us. Much appreciated.
You're welcome, lads.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers. Danny Higginbotham there, giving us his experience of playing for Gibraltar. One of the more strange developments, I'd say, in his career at 34. We'll take a short break.
Off the ball
On News Talk.
What does the next wave of disruptive technologies mean for your business? Find out at Futurescope 2019, Ireland's #1 innovation event taking place on March 28th in the Convention Centre. Meet Ireland's most exciting innovators and understand the emerging technologies influencing your business, from AI to 5G. This is your opportunity. Take it. Secure your ticket at futurescope.ie. Futurescope, brought to you by Dublin Business Innovation Centre.
McGurk's Golf brings you the ultimate fitting experience. Get treated like a pro for the day with the official tailor-made golf tour truck. Fitting days take place from the 1st to the 5th of April. Go to mcgurksgolf.com for further details.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Because Nissan's great 191 offers must end March 31st. Including Nissan's 2-for-1 offer. Buy a selected 191 Nissan and exchange it for a 201 Nissan for free. Or Nissan's low-rate PCP finance offer. Or get up to €5,500 scrappage allowance. But hurry, offers end March 31st. Search Nissan offers to find out more. Terms and conditions apply. Nissan, innovation that excites.
This Irish success story is brought to you by Guaranteed Irish.
Did you know that all of the 34 million pots of Sudocrem sold in over 50 countries worldwide are manufactured by an Irish pharmaceutical company in Baldoyle? Trusted by mums, dads and beauty queens across the globe, while also supporting 51 Irish jobs. Guaranteed Irish helps you support companies that are altogether better choices for our communities. So, look out for it. GuaranteedIrish.ie. Altogether better.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Now then, welcome back. So we're pretty much done for the evening. The FAI, by the way, have released a statement earlier on this evening just to clarify they've been back in touch with Sport Ireland to reassure them that everything's just fine.
Yeah, Football Association of Ireland confirms there has been a reply sent to John Tracy, CEO of Sport Ireland, in relation to the letter received on behalf of the Minister for Transport, Tourism, Sport, Shane Ross, on Tuesday. The FAI have answered all queries raised in the letter to Mr Tracy and looks forward to his response. The FAI are willing to meet with Minister Ross and Sport Ireland to discuss the matter further. So basically that's the nuts and